Speech number 9, persuade with power. Leveraging the one thing that has the power to change everything. Please welcome Florentine Christian.
What if you were to discover a lever in our social system that, if pulled, had the power to end some of the greatest sources of suffering, such as wars, environmental degradation, social injustice, overconsumption, and corporate greed? In my research of a wide array of social, economic, and environmental problems, I have found one such common denominator, a root of all evils, if you will. Can anyone guess what that might be? Money! Yes, our current money system, which has been in place for less than 100 years, actually generates a false sense of scarcity when our natural reality is actually one of abundance. We as human beings have an abundance of creativity, innovation, generosity, compassion. Our planet, though finite, also regenerates. Seeds from harvest are capable of planting far more crops and food supplies. Our water tables are regenerated through natural water cycles. Forests regenerate, as does our nutrient-rich soil. The cause of this scarcity, actually, let me give you a demonstration of why our money is so scarce. If you look at M3, which is a measurement of our money supply is currently valued at $15 trillion. A total of all debt, including our national debt, state and local government debt, and personal debt, is $32 trillion. So our debt load is over twice of all the money in existence to actually be able to pay that debt back. The reason this is made possible is through the way that money is generated, through the issuance of debt. The problem is, though, is that when that debt is to be paid back, it has to be paid back with interest, and those dollars were never created when the debt was issued. Thus, at any given time, there is not enough money, which has been issued by debt, to pay back the past debt plus interest. This problem actually ends up compounding over time. So it is no wonder that we feel a sense of scarcity, because our mechanism of trade truly is one that is scarce. The result to us in our lives of this debt-based, scarcity-based money system is that it ends up watering our lower-level potentialities, such as fear, greed, worry, doubt. And it also has us competing against one another for what seems to be scarce, and thus alienating and separating us from one another. All of the debt, it ends up being pushed on us as individuals to consume and take on credit. It ends up being pushed on corporations. They're pushed to grow indefinitely, which we know is not sustainable. Oftentimes, what this also does is it creates a pressure on corporations to also make decisions that are not in the best interest of human beings, they're not in the best interest of societies, and they're not in the best interest of our environment. It also pushes our government. In order to keep the economy going, our government is also pushed to take on debt, whether it's through stimulus and bailout packages or whether it's through going to war. Oftentimes wars are fought not because anyone's really in real danger, but because money needs to be generated. It is one of the fastest, easiest ways to generate huge amounts of money in our economy. I believe the economic crisis that is going on globally right now is a clarion call for us to flip the script, to pull that lever on our debt-laden paper money system that is creating an undue sense of scarcity and actually seek out alternatives. The good news, though, is that alternatives already exist, and they exist in the form of mutual currency systems. These are things such as time banks, local exchange trading systems, robust currency systems, and community sharing platforms. When we engage, and what these all have, these are probably words that a lot of you are thinking, what the heck does all that mean? These are currencies that basically do not have to be issued by a governing authority, and there is no interest. Simply, when two people negotiate a trade exchange with one another, there is a credit and a debit that gets put onto their accounts. And so the system is always in balance. There's the currency is able to expand and contract with natural trade, and it also sets up a true free trade system, whereby goods and services are valued based on what we as individuals decide they're valued on in our exchanges with one another as fellow human beings. By employing these types of systems, we are actually able to remove that false sense of scarcity so that the natural abundance that is our reality can come into fruition. So what it actually does is it encourages our natural states of compassion, of generosity, of working together, of community and relationship building. What is possible for us if we choose to engage and exchange with one another in an alternative way is that we could truly see a society in which individuals are focused on the contribution they have to make through their gifts, their talents, their skills, and their capacities. We truly could have a society that is focused on building community and being in a harmonious relationship with our natural resources. Now, these systems are currently not quite as convenient as money, which is why we don't use them. But again, because of that infinite potential we have within us to create, to innovate, we've got the talent and capacity within us to continue to evolve these systems so that they are just as convenient as using money, and so that they also stimulate these positive attributes and potentialities within us as human beings. So now that you are aware of this lever that has the capacity to affect so much in our world, what are you going to do?